Great song. What's this? Piracy might be the only way to fight back. I think Mutahar might be right with this one. What's the situation here?
So guys and gals, me Mutahar, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest, man. I think piracy is kind of based when it comes to preserving old video games. Now, before we go into it, I need to address the YouTube community guidelines here, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the YouTube community guidelines under external links policy, okay, I'm already giving them the speech, YouTube, okay? Legal, do not commit piracy,
Yo,
okay? Don't
AI, the
download
AI.
illegal games, movies,
Obviously.
music, whatever off the internet. I'm not even
Don't do
joking
it.
here, okay? Piracy is wrong, okay? It takes away a product from, again, don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. It's illegal, okay? It's stealing, all right? As per most
What's happened, Mutahar?
countries' DMCA-like policies.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you look at YouTube's TOS, they'll tell you you can't link to anything adult. You can't link to any websites that install malware or unwanted software.
Yeah. Links to websites and apps phishing for users to sign in. Info, apps and websites and other sources that give unauthorized access to audio, visual, video game software. I swear a lot of the games do that. Links to websites that seek to raise funds or recruit for terrorist organizations. Makes sense. Links to child abuse sites, child sexual abuse imagery. Links to sites selling items noted in our regulatory goods guidelines, links to content that would violate our hate or harassment policies, links to content encouraging others to commit violent acts, links to websites or apps that spread misleading and deceptive content that could cause serious risk of egregious harm. I know how to say it in my mind, I can't say it out loud, such as interfering with democratic processes. Okay, political right there. Links to external sites that contain manifestos of violent attackers.
So no, I'm not going to be putting Bonzi Buddy in the actual
Ain't no one
description.
doing
Okay,
that.
it's just not okay. It's not code.
Except nefarious actors, bad actors. There are bad actors.
Sure. And of course,
The
links
majority
to
are not, though.
websites, apps, or other sources that give unauthorized access to audio content, audio-visual content, video games, software, or streaming services that normally require payment. So yeah, you know,
so that literally is the one highlighting like piracy.
it's on the same bullet point as links to websites that seek to raise funds or recruit for terror organizations. Yeah, there's 2 no-nos on YouTube, and you just read them. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, all of the legalese aside over here, I want to talk about video game ownership, okay? Now, obviously, I talk about
Well, you don't own it, do you? You lease the license.
this throughout my channels.
I think GOG is the only one that actually gives you ownership licenses over your games, meaning that you can play them without the GOG launcher. I think.
Lifetime. But one post that I saw from Peanut Butter Gamer actually really resonated with me, okay? And I feel like with me and him, maybe it's an age thing. You know, we're both older people compared to some of the new young kids on
I wonder how old Mutahar is. Probably my age, maybe a bit younger.
the block. And we come from a time when buying a video game was a physical affair, okay? I remember buying cartridges that I gave blowjobs to just to make them work on the old Sega Genesis.
Yeah, praying, bro. Blowing and praying.
All right? I remember picking up a PlayStation 1 disc going,
Everyone remembers that. You've done actually more damage doing that. Bro, I used to be militant with my brothers on how to clean it, how to wipe a disc. I used to show them you got to use this part of your top. The bottom part, use underneath. Do it correctly. I even got like these special wipes, man. They learned though.
praying to God that I would see the PlayStation logo and actually be able to play the video game that I wanted, right? I mean, let me tell you, when you're on Siphon Filter 2, Disc 2, and it's not working for...
Yeah, or Metal Gear Solid. Oh my god, bro. And in Metal Gear Solid, when you put the controller down and Cypher makes it move. I think his name's Cypher. I can't remember. But Mantis. Yeah, the Mantis. And he makes the controller move a vibration, bro. That blew my mind when I was a kid. It blew my mind. I knew it was vibrating. I knew it, but I thought, what a great idea The game told me to put the controller down, and he used his mind power to move it. It was a spectacular idea, but that's a tangent.
Brief moment, you get them heart palpitations when you're that young. But anyways, he said, recently realized I no longer own Minecraft because I didn't merge my Mojang account to my Microsoft account. So he buys the game 15 years ago, like we all do, okay, on Mojang.com, if you're as old as me. And they unpurchased it from me. I don't even know how this kind of thing is even legal. Now, I'll tell you how it is legal.
What?
Typically, a lot of these companies have like fucking mega novels of legal work. Like, we're talking crazy end user license agreements. We're talking tons of agreements that pretty much.
Does anyone even really read it? No one actually really reads it. Everyone just goes and hits accept. Are we signing our souls away in these long fucking agreements? What are we doing? And what are they doing making it so inaccessible?
Have it stipulated that I guess they can take away the license at any given fucking moment.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that
That's the thing with owning one of them licensed games. You know, you're basically at the whim of them.
should be
You
legal?
don't own it. You
Absolutely
actually don't
not.
own it.
And there's
You-
plenty
you
of
lease
channels
it.
like mine, like Louis Rossman, like Ross from Accursed Farms. There's plenty of channels, plenty of content creators that understand the value of buying a fucking video game and owning it. Okay, now
Look, and also we know it's pretty evident, especially in the West, if people are pirating games, if they like the game, a massive percentage of them people pirating that game actually go and purchase the game. Like with money, they buy it. They end up buying the game. Even though they could continue with the crack as normal and play everything as normal, they would rather pay for it because it's such a good game. This is what I've noticed in the piracy and cracking community. A lot of the outcome ends up being the people actually purchasing the game.
before somebody conflates it and says you don't technically own the game, you own a license.
Yeah.
I know I own a license, okay? I know when I purchase a disc to anything, I own a license to use that software. And I'm not conflating it with me owning Minecraft as an IP. I feel like that's a weird conflation that I've seen recently, and I just want to nip it in the ass right now. So obviously, Austin
Let me put the
says
kettle
the
on. Give me
gaming
1
industry is increasingly moving to a future where you no longer own the games you buy. Happens all the time. I can't play my 2-year-old version of NBA 2K because they shut the server. Your first problem was buying NBA 2K. Okay, that was your first issue. But anyways, I'll let that slide. I feel like there should be more pushback on this. There should be, okay? There should be. All right, god damn. Before people go, but Muda, you're crazy, okay? Just get over it, old man. All right, deal with it's a digital future. I wouldn't have an issue with the digital future. I buy digital games, but I wish we had more ownership of our digital media, right? There's a lot of good platforms like GOG where you can pay them $60 and get access to an installer that you can install games to your system and never have to connect to their service, install a fucking third-party launcher, or do anything above board. You can just install, click the exe file, and never have to touch the internet again for a purely single-player experience. Other platforms like Steam don't work that way.
I was saying that. So I was right then. Yeah, so it is GOG. GOG is brilliant in that sense. Good old games, right, and preserving games. And I heard that they're doing this game preservation sort of move, which is so brilliant. And I think it's like because people don't realize. Because we're so abundantly full of so many games and so many outlets and such, it kind of went under the radar. But game preservation is so important, I think. This is why I started watching Mutaha. I think it was something along them lines of game preservation or emulating and stuff like that. And since then, I've been a fan. And I rely on him and his information a lot when it comes to game preservation, stuff like even Linux, stuff like that is Mutaha. So shout out to Some Ordinary Gamers and Mutaha, man. Legend. I just thought I'd put that in there.
Other platforms like Epic don't work that way. And I feel like a lot of people are
Only
dumb enough to
GOG,
come into
right?
comments and go, well, you buy games on Steam, but you're out here talking about game ownership. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Steam is perfect. It clearly isn't. You can go to GOG and purchase a fucking game, like Fallout, for instance, and own it. You can own the actual... You can burn the installer to a Blu-ray drive and keep that shit forever. You know, I
Yeah.
downloaded all my GOG games and stuck them onto my own cloud server, meaning that if I ever need to play games like SWAT 4 again, I can just pull that shit right from my cloud
Yeah, that's spectacular. It's brilliant, that is.
and install it without ever touching GOG once again. So again, when he
Like, sorry, I've got like a stack of games on my fat hard drive. I'll probably never play again, but just in case, you know, Paper Please is in there, fucking Terraria is in there, fucking Skyrim is in there, fucking Fallout is in there. I don't know, probably won't play these games again, but I just keep them there. And every now and then I add another good game, like so Cyberpunk is in there, KCD2 is in there. You know what I mean? I keep updating it.
actually goes down, there were some comments that I found that literally hurt. They sent you a
me
few
do the coffee,
million
1
emails
second.
about it leading up to it. Which is true.
shit.
Actually, Microsoft, when it came to Minecraft, when Microsoft acquired Mojang, they wanted you to effectively migrate your Mojang account to your Microsoft account. Now, I did that, unlike Austin, meaning that my Minecraft purchase from 15 years ago or whatever ends up actually attributing to my Microsoft account. And that's the account that I use to play Minecraft in today's day and age. Obviously, Austin didn't do that, meaning that he had actually ended up losing his account because he failed to actually migrate it. And I'm sure that if he went through the customer service support section, he could. But I would think that, unfortunately, in his case, it might be better for him to just spend the $15 again or whatever the fuck the Minecraft license is than dealing with the headache of Microsoft support or any support team in general. Now, of course, one person says YouTuber has to spend $30 a second time in 2 decades. What a tragedy. Now, that might be one of the most... I know I can't use that word. Brain dead things I've read on the internet. Because here's the funny thing. If you buy a license, you should basically be allowed to keep it, all right, for the foreseeable future. Now, the thing about it is, that's just mine.
You'll always have some brain dead fucking idiot coming along going, yeah, look at our YouTuber. Oh, woe is you. You're a millionaire. You're a millionaire, but you have to buy a game again. Oh, poor you. They've missed the whole point of this whole fucking thing. It's not about fucking the person having money, you stupid cunt, and being able to afford this for the fucking people that can't afford it. Silly bastard. In some fucking countries, a game would cost a month's wage. Silly bastard. Go on, millionaire. Go and buy everyone else that can't afford the game then, you silly cunt. Oh, you're a millionaire. So sad you have to buy the game twice. No, you've missed the fucking point, silly cunt.
Craft in this situation, but it's one small symptom in a much larger
But wait, you're a millionaire. Sorry, I'll stop.
problem. Now, one of the most interesting and amazing initiatives that I've seen in the world of gaming is Stop Killing Games, and I've talked about this for quite a long time now.
Oh, well, what's that? Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games that have sold to customers. An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but are designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support from the publisher ends. See, this is what needs to stop and needs to be preserved. This practice is a form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers but makes preservation effectively impossible. Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries. Over the past year, we have successfully escalated complaints on this problem to consumer agencies in France, Germany and Australia, and have brought forth petitions for new law on this problem to various countries. That's spectacular. A list of the actions taken to date can be viewed here. As of 2025, most consumer action on this matter has concluded, and we are awaiting decisions on it from several governments. However, there are a few remaining avenues left where people can participate if they are eligible. The European Citizens Initiative is now open. 434,000 signatures. This is the most powerful option at our disposal, but it requires a massive number of signatures from citizens of the EU countries in order to pass. If we can pass the signature threshold, there is a very strong chance that the European Commission will pass a new law that will both protect consumer rights to retain video games that they have purchased and advanced preservation efforts massively. So that's great. That's great. Petition to UK government. UK citizens and residents can sign a petition here. If it passes over 100,000 signatures, a new law will be considered to be brought before Parliament to debate to prohibit publishers from destroying video games that customers have already paid for. Exactly. If you put a product on market, you must support it, or at least if you're going to stop the support of it, at least put a preservation effort on there, because people have purchased this with money, and when you purchase something, you in essence you should own that. You've purchased that. You've purchased the right, the license, whatever. So then that should stay forever. In 20, 30 years, you can go back and play that thing that you bought for with money. Definitely, I agree with it. This is brilliant. Stop killing games.
This is a actual, movement pushed by Ross from A Cursed Farm, a beloved YouTuber who creates some amazing YouTube content like his infamous Game Dungeon series, where for some reason Ross can pull out literally the most obscure fucking game that I've never heard of and show it to an audience of people that are absolutely willing to just consume some of the most obscure games you can imagine. I'm one of them. But here in this initiative, it's a consumer movement where they wanted to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games that they sell to customers. Now, one of his big videos was talking about live service games being effectively a scam, which is true. A lot of games...
Yeah, in essence, I think every live service game should be free, and then microtransactions is completely up to the gamer, but you can't be charging for that because it's not going to live forever. It will die.
That distribute a lot of these titles.
I don't know, man. Maybe Fortnite, what's it going to morph into? They have to be continuous work throughout its whole existence.
That are connected to online services effectively have a time limit associated.
And if I'm envisioning that, then Fortnite is the game for that. I can probably envision in 30 years Fortnite could still be going on like mad.
So I want you to understand this really quickly. Let's say you buy a video game right now. And it's a purely single-player experience, meaning that you're not really interacting with other users, or you can play the majority of the game completely offline. Now imagine if the game has an internet connection associated. Yeah. So meaning that, at some point down the road, the gaming company associated can actually terminate the online services, meaning that the game you buy is effectively useless.
Yeah.
Now that game, The Crew, that we constantly do talk about from Ubisoft, as an example of this, is the perfect example.
It's gone.
You buy a video game for $60. Sometime down the road, in the near future, Ubisoft just pulls the cord on the servers, and the game becomes an effectively useless brick.
So then, what Ubisoft should do, or any company that has done such a move, should refund every single customer. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You've made the saving on not having that production. All right, then we'll refund everyone for the product that is effectively ineffective, it is obsolete. It does not exist anymore, actually. So refund me then. Refund the money.
Meaning that for people who enjoyed that game, they'll never be able to play it again because
people that enjoyed and paid for that game, mind you.
Purchase was effectively forfeit.
Yeah.
Now, at no point on these games does Ubisoft go out and say, you're not actually purchasing the game, you're actually renting it. And basically, it can effectively be up to us to terminate this game whenever we feel like. We'll give you notice, but once we tell you we're getting rid of this game, there's literally nothing you can do against it.
Oh, so what can you do when you give you notice? It's like a heads up. What for? What for? Yo, bro, I'm going to rob you. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to take what you bought, and I'm not going to give you your money back. Huh? The heads up should be, okay, you've got this window to redeem a refund for your purchase. That's it. You missed that window to redeem your purchase, and maybe it is. I'm not too sure. I don't care about Ubisoft that much. It's literally a turd. The company is a turd. Anyway, maybe they do, but I would highly doubt that, because a lot of people won't cry, right? There won't be people out here crying.
You can't refund it. You can't get some of your money back.
Yeah, you can't refund it. You can't do nothing.
A fucking brick.
Not even store credit, you tight motherfuckers. Not even store credit. Did you guys invent copper?
So Ross made Stop Killing Games, which is such an amazing, easy petition that if you go to it, especially if you're in the European Union, guys, it's so easy. You can literally pick whatever country you're in. So if you're in from Ireland, for instance, click on the Ireland section, follow all of these simple steps, and you too can make your fucking anger known to the government so that they can at least investigate companies like Ubisoft or really any gaming company and at least tell them, stop killing your fucking games, okay? Simple as that. It's literally that simple. Now, I guess
they could easily implement, I think, preservation measures. Surely. Surely.
Really good example of this is what happens when a game is not completed on a disc. So, for instance, if you've never played the new Indiana Jones, Great Circle game, you are missing out on one of the best action-adventure games in general. Not just
It's a great game. Sidekick Woman's a little bit of a fucking headache, though. That's what's deterred me from actually finishing the game. But that's me being a little bitch as a consumer. But that's me. That's my personal preference. She's a headache, the woman.
great Indiana Jones game, but an amazing
a great game,
action-adventure
man.
title. So the thing about this game is, unfortunately, it does not come completed on the disc. So I was actually going to go pick this up for the actual PlayStation 5, but thanks to a channel known as Retro Game Future, he decided to do this himself. Now, if you look at the box...
So, internet connection is necessary. Oh, you're fucked then.
Right next to the PEGI
Well,
rating, you're looking at Connection Internet Necessaires, meaning that you're going to need the fucking internet to play this game.
Why would you need the internet to play a single-player game that you actually have the fucking disc for? Someone fucking explain.
Okay.
Oh, probably to sell you some shit? Oh, no.
So, all right, you might be like, all right, well, what does that even mean?
What
that
for?
means if you put this goddamn game in your PlayStation 5 without an internet connection, it installs around 20 gigabytes of content. Now, to give you an idea, the actual Blu-ray disc drive of a PlayStation can store up to 100 gigabytes.
Cool.
So if you just took away those massive HD textures, you could actually fit the entire game on one disc. And if you were Microsoft, the indie company that they are, you could probably also stick a second Blu-ray into this and just have both of them serve as the actual physical media containing the textures and the core game.
Yeah.
Plenty of titles do this. Games like Cyberpunk 2077. Games like, believe it or not, Baldur's Gate 3. A lot of games release with full physical releases where all the content is available for anybody to play if they don't have an internet connection. Now, you might be like, this probably isn't that big of a deal. What is the actual issue? The issue is, let's say 10, 15 years down the road, when PlayStation chooses to axe their servers for PlayStation 5, which they've done for PlayStation systems that are aged, systems like the PlayStation 3, where, again, servers are taken offline, and eventually their online storefronts don't exactly exist for too long. What happens is, now that you have this physical disc, you put it into your system, and you can't even download the updated content to play your physical fucking release. Meaning that no matter where you buy Indiana Jones physically, whether it be on the Xbox or the PlayStation, it is effectively a useless brick. Now, this hurts.
Then why would you do that? What's the incentive? There is none.
Hurts even more when the game is good. Indiana Jones is an amazing game. And you might be like, but Muda, the discs don't contain the games. What are you talking about? Well, if you go to doesitplay.org, great guys, friends of the channel, these guys showcase an amazing statistic. For instance, 93% of games actually work without the internet, okay? Offline play is an...
This is brilliant. I love these sort of websites. You see, I did not even know that they existed. These are heroes, these people. Absolute fucking heroes.
But when it comes to physical media, 74% in the green category means that you can effectively run most physical media without ever needing an internet connection. Now, when it comes to the yellow category, which again is, the no download required, typically that means you'll probably need a download to get some extra content that's not necessarily required to play the game, just maybe like extra, maybe like a level or like some skins. Or sometimes it might be patches that fix performance.
But what about expansion packs? I guess that doesn't fall into that. So skins, HD remasters maybe?
Performance pretty heavily. Like, technically you could play Cyberpunk 2077 with physical media without ever fucking requiring an internet connection. But that also means you're pretty much putting yourself up to the most annoying gaming experience of your life.
Oh, fuck.
In fact, if we really added in the worst case scenario, up to 12% of games are unfortunately requiring a download on their system. And sadly, I feel like some gaming companies are kind of getting a little too liberal with giving us shitty media. Games like Hogwarts Legacy, hell, even games like Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition doesn't even contain the fucking DLC for PS5 users. Like, what?
Oh, come on, man.
that even? You need a code to access that?
Come
Get
on.
out of here.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to old games like this, right? Again, the context is if the game does not fucking
There should be then an external company. Then the external company says, "Bring your game, and we will consolidate it all the updates and update your physical disc. Give you a physical disc. I don't know, man. Some company out there do that. We will compile all your digital game and make it into a physical version. Do you have Baldur's Gate in your Steam library? I do. Would you like a complete edition with all online updates on a disc? I would. Well, come on down to fucking put your digital game on to physicalmedia.com. You know, something like that. Would be great.
give a completed. Now, if the game is not completed on the disc and down the road those patches aren't available, I mean, it is what it is. Preserving the game becomes an issue. Now, I started this video off by saying that video game piracy is kind of based in this regard. So, to show you, when it comes to Indiana Jones, this is a crack NFO from the company Razor 1911.
Razor.
Now, this is a pretty infamous hacking group that's been around since before I was born, and even some
They're
of you
legendary.
were born.
They're legend. I was born and when I spawned in, they were here already.
And they actually ended up cracking, again, this Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So by downloading this cracked version of the game, pirates are able to somehow preserve this amazing title without the help of Microsoft.
And all updated, mind you.
Especially. See, they're not giving us proper physical releases, and they're tying this behind online digital storefronts that are fleeting as the years go by.
Yeah.
So by having a cracked version available
On your USB drive, on a hard drive, stored and hidden away, fully updated, that's preservation, that is.
in some capacity means that, for better or for worse, on the PC, this game is a preserved experience.
Yeah.
The same cannot be said for consoles. I mean, what kind of a world do we live in where you have to break the law in order to preserve your games? You know, people...
Yeah. Something that you've paid for. So, in order for you to safeguard something that you've paid for, you have to break the law. Something fishy here.
say if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. You know, the thing...
He's right. He's fucking right. The quote, if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. He's right.
The thing about it is that, look, there's a lot of people that pirate simply because they just don't want to buy video games or they don't want to spend money.
And you know, the number one reason, I know, ask yourself. I'll give you a minute. Too late. They can't afford it. They can't afford it, man. Number one reason why people crack games, they can't afford it.
think they have access to pretty much anybody's like video game without paying, right? And in that case, it's pretty shitty. But if buying video games in the current era is effectively just one giant fucking rental, then how can you not say that piracy doesn't have a world? If the service
Yeah. Explain.
that we are currently engaging with is so bastardized and predatory against the user, then extreme measures like piracy in this situation are probably the only stopgap to preserve some of the best titles in history. I think it's only software that really has this issue, like video games. Like usually with movies or with music, there are ways to preserve that media no matter what, right? Like you can always screen record all of your Blu-rays and store them onto your hard drives as backups.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music that you can just, again, record onto your system or rip audio files and store.
Yeah.
But you
What
can't
about
really
games?
do that with every single video game.
And that's the only way then. Cracking it then. There is a way. It's by cracking it. Oh, well, that's against the law. Well, then make a way then. Just like with music and with movies. Make a way.
Especially when those video games are
Make a way or they're going to make a way. Make a way? That's legit. Or we're going to make a way. There is a way.
tied to complete online services that with a The moment those servers go down, that software is effectively inaccessible. Some of you guys may enjoy the games Destiny 1 and 2, and the problem is, because those are effectively tied to online services, without server emulators and some access to the physical media, there is eventually going to be a point where accessing those games becomes completely impossible.
Yeah, it's the same as like GTA Online as well. All of that.
You will lose content no matter what. Speaking of video games that literally are alive because of piracy, this is a game franchise known as the Chronicles of Riddick. Now, you might really watch the movies, and
I remember a game.
I'm not crazy for the movies, but I love these video games. In fact, it's probably amazing and lucky for me to actually own the physical copy of this on my PlayStation 3. But if you're on the PC, literally 18.4 thousand people have asked to preserve this video game. In fact, it's because of an old version of GOG's, version of Escape from Butcher Bay that I was actually able to download and play this game on modern hardware and a PC. Sick. Literally through piracy, I was able to actually experience and keep this game alive. No company sells this anymore, okay? Vin Diesel ain't selling it. Midway ain't selling it.
Vin Diesel doesn't even know its existence. He forgot.
It literally is because of video game piracy that we're actually allowed to preserve and keep this game going forward.
Well, ain't that a thing,
isn't
it?
To an online service or some fucking nonsense where the game was never completed on a disc, we probably could never play an amazing title like this ever again.
Vamos. Gone.
You know, piracy is one of those things where I feel like for a lot of companies, it actually is beneficial, especially for indie titles in certain cases, where people can be drawn for excessive sales. There's a YouTuber known as Seth Zine Talk, which if you've never seen his content, he covers a lot of older PC games. Not just older PC games, but I
love that sort of shit. I love it.
This is a gamer that's like me, okay? He made a video on a game known as Star Sector back in 2019. Now, I ended up watching this video a while back, and this game is a pretty simplistic, it's a pretty simplistic, space game in terms of its visual design, but don't let that hold you back. The amount of content and the amount of things you can do in this world is insane, okay? Want to be an organ dealer? You absolutely can. Want to be a black market god? You can. Want to be an honorable fucking pirate? You can. Want to be a merchant? You can. It's an amazing title. Super open-ended. All made by the smallest of development groups imaginable. Now, the thing is, in his video, he gave his CD key for the game away. Meaning that if you wanted to try this game, and I actually did use his CD key to play the game briefly, probably like 7-8 hours, and I loved the game so much that the next thing I did was just buy my own version of the game. Yeah. And, if I can just throw out my CD key, I probably will too, just for you guys to grab and play if you want to experience the game for yourselves. Now, the developers for this were super cool about it. They were like, all right, great. These people are playing our video game, and they enjoyed their video game enough to the point that they bought it, like me. Now, I'm sure there's some people that are using
it's a good, beautiful thing to see.
Probably never buy Star Sector, which is, again, the negative aspect of it. But because of piracy, and because of the awareness raised by this YouTuber alone, with 8.9 million views on this one video game, I'm sure it led to some serious good sales for this group.
100%.
And again, that's really the key with a lot of successful indie games,
100%.
right? When there's a mutual, healthy relationship between the audience and an influencer, and again, showcasing this, it can be very beneficial, okay? But the point is, piracy probably did lead to a lot of positivity for this game.
It's true.
Now, look, piracy is a complicated subject. But I really wanted to talk about it in the context of it really saving a lot of modern video games. There's a lot of video games that I enjoy that, frankly, are living on borrowed time, just because of the way that companies are handling their DRM. A lot of online
DRM needs to go away.
Services are being required.
It's actually making the games not run well. It's an optimization issue.
There's a lot of...
It's a hindrance. All of that to safeguard their licenses is they're doing that at the detriment of the quality of the game. Remove it, man.
I want to say negativity, right? There's a lot of fear that comes from what's going to happen 20 years down the road when my son is going to be like, or daughter, or what my children are going to be like, I want to play Chronicle of Riddick. I want to play shit like Star Sector. I want to play shit like Indiana Jones.
Unlucky.
And
You go, tough shit, son. That shit's a thing of the past. Sit down now, I'll tell you the story of it. That's it.
because of how servers are operating down the road and how these companies treat, their software and licenses that are handed out to people, it makes me wonder if these games are ever going to be completely available, right? We're long past the days of Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, where we have ISO files for effectively every single game from entire console generations. We're at a point now where video games are kind of a tough bastard to preserve. And it's only going to get worse unless we fight right now.
We have
And I
to.
think the fight is important.
Because otherwise then it's going to have to be then, alright, well, we'll have to do it illegally then. We'll have to preserve it illegally. Our mission is an honourable one. We are vigilantes of the night. We are preserving games. Come on, man. Make a way. Make a way.
Especially if you're somebody that really, really, really loves the world of video gaming. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and
That's
subscribe.
spectacular
Dislike,
video.
Dislike it, I am out.
Great video from Muaha. Always great. Great food for thought. Always great food for thought. And it's true. Piracy. Piracy is actually doing an honourable quest. Not to say that I agree with piracy or whatever. Will give us a way to preserve our video games. Preserve our video games for us, please, sir. Please. So we can play them for the years to come. Please.